good morning, people. Come on, it's Monday. I know what Mondays are like. Mondays are tough to get going. It's just, it's Monday morning, do I gotta get up? Yeah, you gotta go. Come on, wake up. It's 8 o'clock. I start coming here at 8. There, all right, Chris Thompson. Good morning. Suzanne Loman, good morning. Uh, Seen the email. Toya Davis, good morning. Erica, good morning. Try to catch these names that come across if I can. Uh, so you the guys, the only ones that are awake. Okay, oh, Chris, here you go. Cherry Riles, Lisa, Ruth, Vienna, Michelle Krause, good morning, sweetie. Uh, Renee, Elena, good morning, sweetie. Sue, good morning. Deborah, Melissa, Sarah, Sherry, Deborah. Oh yeah, Deborah. Uh, Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Deborah. Happy birthday to you. If it's the wrong Deborah, I'm sorry. Peggy, good morning, sweetie. Jennifer, good morning. Kathy, it's 9 o'clock here in South Carolina. Yeah, y'all are later over there than we are here. Ronnie, good morning. Tell y'all something about Ronnie, guys. Carol, good morning. Colette, Linda, Diane, Deborah, uh, Kay Weston, Diane. Uh, Thank you, Kay. Uh, Also, about Ronnie. Keep Ronnie in your prayers too, guys. Uh, Ronnie's not no spring chicken. I'm not either. And that's not what I'm talking about. But he's taken on a humanitarian colossal job, I think, just out of his heart. He's got a neighbor. His name is Stan. Keep him in your prayers too. He has terminal cancer, and he lives alone. And they've been friends for many, many years. And all right, good morning there, Shelby, Lisa, and Ronnie. He calls on Ronnie for everything he needs, and Ronnie's is always there for him, taking care of him, taking care of his house, gets his house up for him, because he can't do nothing. He's on hospice, I guess you call it, and it's just anyway, keep them both in your prayers. But Ronnie's just kind of going back and forth, trying to do his own place and taking care. Got to remind me of Dorothy taking care of all the people she takes care of, plus runs her little farm, and Ronnie's doing the same thing. So pray for him and Stan. And that's probably all I'll say anything good about Ronnie, because if I say too much good, he'll get the big head. You know how it goes. All right. Good morning, Peggy. Sharon, good morning. Uh, some of these names come out kind of quick. I can't catch them. So today is a big day. If Ben shows up, it's a big day. But it's a big day regardless. Uh, I'm going to try to turn this around just for a minute. And if y'all will look, you'll see this part of the shed is empty. And all things got to come out of there. Those two sawhorses, and there's a box over with a tent in it. And I'll move that to the barn. Uh, Today I will take some totes and go into the bee room and start boxing up all the smaller stuff in totes. And if Ben shows, he'll put them on the trailer. And the big stuff Ben will take out, help him, and we'll put it on the trailer, and it's going over to the big barn. So that big barn, listen guys, that big barn has been a shared barn since the day it was built. Now I built it, but there was nobody up here at the time but me. So it wasn't a big deal. But then Dan come along and helped me finish a lot of it and helped put concrete in it. We put a concrete slab in it, and G's dad moved over. He was able to bring some of his stuff and put there, so it was a good share barn. And it's always been that way, and it probably basically still is in a way. But then when Hurricane Harvey come and ruined this little house here, Tony moved away, I thought, well, that's even be better for me. It's more enclosed. You know, I could even heat it if I wanted to. So I moved over here voluntarily and made this my shop. It's really good because I could heat it, you know. Well, then we've had a flood since then. But anyway, it's really coming apart. The old sheetrock, you know, we had to tear a bunch of that out because it mildew and stuff. But it's really, the old building needs to come down. I would guess probably that tin, I put up the tin on the sides of the walls was cratering. Yeah, that's how I ragged out that storm got it. But you take that tin off them walls, it may want to fall over. I don't know, but we're gonna find out. But it's kind of come down, and I'm moving back over. Dan has built him a new shop, and Jake has got his new place coming. But there's plenty of room in that barn. You know, if they need to keep something there for a while, that's fine. It's not a big deal. I ain't got that much stuff. Well, you can say you got a ton of stuff. It's just junk, but it ain't junk. But anyway, that's Dan and all of them have cleaned it all out good. We got plenty of room to put our stuff. The only thing I put over so far is, and I got a video coming, is an attic fan. And you say, oh, what do you want an attic fan for? And I'll explain that in that video. But anyway, it's over there. And Jake told me, he said, there's an old fan over at that Honey Hill, and he don't know how to make a box fan. So you bring it over here, Jake, and I'll help you. Me and you get out there and we'll set it up. It don't take but a couple of sheets of 3/4 inch plywood and some wire, and we could, you have to get a motor for it and stuff, but we can make a good box fan for you. And I may take that when I moved out there and rig it up as a box fan also. Saying that about box fans, we throwed one away because the old motor was bad. Belts were gone, motor was bad. Dan didn't use it no more, and it needed a lot of repair work done on it. And Rob was telling me, he said, man, I wish I had another box fan for up at Uvalde. I said, well, I know where one is. You got to do some work on it. He said, I'll be glad to do the work on it. So Jake and Bree and I dug it out of the junk pile, dug it up. It's sitting over in my yard, and I don't think G's gonna let it sit in my yard very long. I called Rob and said, I got it for you, but it's in my yard. It can't stay there forever. But I think Ben and he said he's working this week. He'll cut over maybe the weekend and get it. I think what we'll do is probably just get the dolly and move it over here beside the shop somewhere out of the way, so it doesn't look like an eyesore out in my front yard. Big old red box fan. You know, it's huge. I'm out here by PawPaw's custom garden. Some call it the pansy garden. And I tell you what, I'm gonna do some work here at the garden here this morning. And when Ben is loading up the stuff I pack up, the cucumbers on one side are looking pretty good. The cucumbers on this side have a lot to be desired. I'm going to remove some of them and replace that soil with barnyard and replant. Not the whole thing, but a section. And we're going to see the difference, what happens. These over here, I dug down beside their roots and put barnyard fertilizer in there, right out of my old garden. And they're starting to take off. They're gonna be okay. These over here, I didn't do as much. I just kind of sprinkled some, and they're just hanging on. And it's just not right. It's just not right. But I'm gonna kind of boost them up. Good morning, Jackie. I think Jeffrey got therapy or something this morning. Couldn't read all of it. Keep all these folks, guys that have issues. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, we all have issues. We all have issues. Keep all these folks in your prayer. It's like a big family here, you know. We're here together, you know, and we're in this thing together. So let's just pray for each other and hold each other up. And if Ronnie needs, you know, kicking down a little bit, we'll kick him. We'll kick him. Will's not here this morning. I got a message from Will regretting he couldn't be here to give me a hard time, but they got some big stuff going over there in Georgia. I guess the sun is shining. His wife has kicked him out of the house because she ain't gonna let him stay in the house if it's sun shining because he's a pain in the butt. So she puts him outside. If it's rainy, she locks him in his room. Talking about locking folks in their room. We'll talk about that in a minute. Ronnie's getting scared already. She puts him in his room and he gets that phone out and he starts all this kind of stuff, picking on me and Ronnie. But he's out working today. Bama Ronnie Neal. Good morning, Uncle Ronnie Neal. I hope Ronnie ain't your uncle, because that would be, good morning, Steve. That'd be a hard thing to live with. Oh, that's Uncle Ronnie. Here comes Uncle Ronnie, guys. No, every time I talk to Ronnie, now almost seriously, almost every time I talk to him, he's locked in his room. And that's kind of sad, but Diane, I think, puts him in there, throws them two little dogs of his in there, and slams the door and says, stay, stay. Yeah, I give him a hard time about that. She's a sweet lady, though. I don't know how she deals with him. Okay, Anna Maria Piazza. I love to say that word, Piazza. I'm pretty good at it. Some names I haven't got down good yet. Danny Glover, good morning. I went to school with a Glover, and I sure did. James, I believe his name was, James Glover. He's an awesome guy. I hadn't seen James probably since I graduated. His family, tell you a quick story. Yeah, y'all like stories. There was an old mill, been there in Cleveland for probably 100 years, I'm guessing. It's called Williams Mill. It was a sawmill, cut timber, made lumber. And these old mills back in the day, and they made steel in places, they had their own like little, with their houses, everybody lived in houses, was like mill owned. They had mill owned those houses, and the employees lived there with their families. They had their own little grocery store. And some of them big enough to even have like a little dentist office and an old doctor's clinic or whatever, you know. Some of them are big enough to do that stuff. But Williams Mill had a lot of that stuff. And James' parents worked in the mill. And the old mills, folks very seldom even left the mill. I mean, they get paid, they go right over to the little store and buy everything they needed, you know, there in the mill. And but there was another one. I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's over toward Conroe. It'll come to me eventually. It was even bigger, and the same kind of system over there. But these old mills, these folks lived in these mills, so, you know, in the housing built inside these big property where the mills were, and it's smoky all the time because, you know, they had them old big burn piles with the sawdust and stuff. They didn't save nothing back then. They burnt sawdust and all that stuff, and it was always smoky down there. I've been to James' house before, and it's a haze in there with all that smoke. You hear them old melt saws running the whole time, day and night, stuff running, you know, in that place. You know, trucks coming and going. Yeah, it'd been kind of tough, I think, living in a mill, but they did. Anyway, good morning, Sandy and Jeff Burnett. Good morning, guys. Our Connie Hill, Connie finally woke up this morning. She's kind of, for a while, Connie was first. I mean, first, number one. And then all of a sudden you see that, it's just that sleeping late. So I just sleep a little bit later. I'll catch him later. I'm just picking on you, Connie. It's good having you here. Box fans are awesome. So I always talk about box fans. You can set one up now. The one I think Rob has at his house has big rollers on it, you know, and they can roll it around. And one, and I built this one out here, I've got some rollers I'll put on it, and I'll be able to move it around, because in that old big barn over there, if I put it together, I can set it at the back of that barn, and plug them in. They don't run real fast, you know, they ain't gonna blow everything, but they'll run fast enough to it's cool, just keep a good wind blowing through there if you're out there working, doing stuff, you know. So they are good. And you don't, I guess they still make them and you still find them, but these are all hand-me-downs. These are all hand-me-downs. The one that Dan and them didn't want no more because it don't work good and didn't have no use for it. That actual fan come out of an old store that G's mom and dad had bought, and the whole fan was sitting out back and propped up beside a wall. Evidently at one time it had used it. And G's dad told me if I want a thing, take it. Because I'd come home and I built a box around it and put an old motor on it. But the old motor's been through 2 floods, so you know that's why it's pretty well junked out now. It's pretty well junky, but they just change the motor. They run good. And you buy the little motor separate. They bolt on the side, down the side, so it's not a big deal. Morning, Elisa and Janet. Flawed but faithful Wendy. Well, Wendy, we're all flawed, sweetie. We're all flawed. Some more than others. And I might be in that more than others, being flawed, you know. It's okay. Nobody's perfect. Not even Ronnie. Hey, Buster. Y'all don't get no time. No, don't bounce it. Don't hit it. Buster wants to run play. They come over and sit between my legs right here on the floor, and he's bumping my tripod. Hi, Joanne. We picked up Lex Friday. Someone said, why y'all go? Because we love to go. We like picking Lex up. It's exciting to me and G to drive down and we'll get him whatever he likes to eat. We stop and get it on the way. And it's fun. We sit there at the school and he comes out, and he gets in, and sometimes we got Kippy. This last couple times we took just Woody and Tiki Dog. And he gets in the back seat and he whatever he wanted to eat, pizza or whatever it might be, and they're back there, the little dogs, more or less trying to get what he's got. But we have a good time. And then he spends the night Friday night, and usually on Saturday, and sometimes he stays Saturday night too, but usually on Saturday he goes up to his dad's and spends the night with his dad. And his dad takes him back to his mom on Sunday afternoons. Well, when his dad picked him up, him and LE, and they all went to eat Saturday afternoon, and he dropped LE back off, and Lex wanted to go up with his dad, so Kippy had to go. So yesterday, and you know, the last time that happened, Lester kept Kippy 3 or 4 days, several days, I think. I'm having love for Buster. Buster keeps running back over here. He's doing something bad because he keeps running back to PawPaw. You know he's doing something bad. Ricardo, good morning. I hope your mom's doing better, buddy. Praying for her. Becky, good morning, Becky. Ellen, good morning. Kathy, trying to read it. Jennifer, Karen, Owen, Hatari's not here. I haven't seen any messages from Hatari this morning. Anyway, last time Lester kept Kippy for a few days, and he called and says, I'm going to be bringing Kippy back. Kippy's out of his element up here. He's doing good. He went everywhere Lester went, but he said he's just not in his element, so he brought it back. Well, then yesterday, when LE come back, and Lester took Lex on back to his mom's, Kippy rode back with LE. LE called, said, I'm letting Kippy out. He's on his way. And sure enough, here he come across that field, just running. And then I had to give him a ride, you know, take him for a ride. Sharon Sipe, Tammy Saint, is it Saint Pierre or something like that? You know some of these names, guys. Y'all, I don't know why everybody ain't named Smith. It'd be easy. They say, hi, John Smith. Talk about John Smith. That's kind of sounds like an alias, Johnny Smith. I worked with a Texas Ranger named Johnny Smith. That was his name, Johnny Smith. And we worked several cases together back in my day. And fun guy. I was the youngest guy at the sheriff's office. And Johnny was young. And he's a Texas Ranger, and he was assigned to our county. And his office was there in the main office there in Liberty. And I worked in the Cleveland office. And every chance he got, he'd come to Cleveland. I got to work a case over in Cleveland. He would roll right around me, hang out. We had a lot of fun though. Good guy. We'd come down here sometimes, set up targets, and kind of get out of work and set up targets and shoot and stuff like that. A lot of fun guy. His name was John Smith. Every time you introduced him to somebody, they'd kind of like, what's his real name? That is his real name. I'm glad it wasn't John Doe. Here's John Doe. Good morning, Kathy, Becky, is it Damie? Damie Glover? Good morning, I'm glad you're here, sweetie. I think it's Damie. Just talk about a Glover, James Glover I went to school with. Good morning, Steve. Steve talking about somebody borrowed something. I don't know what it was. I guess he's talking about Ronnie's one tomato plant. You know, he goes over to his neighbors and gets that tomato plant. It's in a pot, you know, and runs back over to his house, takes pictures of it. Then, because he has his house in the background, then he takes it back. And then he wants to talk about everybody else's gardens. His wife has a beautiful flower garden. I will say this, she got a beautiful flower garden. I'm gonna try to, we're supposed to go to Ronnie's on Saturday. We was gonna go last Saturday. A lot of stuff come up and we couldn't make it. We're gonna make it this Saturday, I think. And I'm taking a couple of goats to him. And I'm gonna take him a bill. He owes a bill for them goats. There's gonna be a lot of stuff maybe tacked on it like any other bill you get in the mail. They always tack everything on them. Get a little extra charge here, a little extra charge there. And I doubt he's gonna pay it. You know, Ronnie ain't gonna pay for nothing. But he get the bill, and I can always say, well, you owe me, Ronnie, you owe me. Interest is going up. Hang on, I dropped my lid. Drop my lid, hang on. You ever drop something? Yeah. I can't even reach it. I gotta get up to reach it. Have you ever noticed, and this is a fact, you drop something. You're welcome, Deborah. You're welcome. If you ever drop something and it rolls, it'll always roll this far, too far. You ever notice that? It don't stop where you can just reach down and reach it. It'll always be this far, too far. I've noticed that. I've studied it. You ever study stuff? You ain't got nothing else to do. You study stuff. I've studied it. And it's true. It is true. Thank you, Patricia. It is true. It is. Or it'll roll, yeah, there you go. It'll roll under something. It never stops where you can just reach down and pick it up. It just don't happen that way. It just don't happen. But most times it's just that far, too far. You gotta get up and move over to get it. Or if you're lucky enough, you reach out with your leg and hook it and kind of drag it back to you. But in our case, in our house, it hits the floor, little Tiki done got it running. He's running with it, and you got to chase him down. Morning, Mans. Mans was off a few days, vacation, taking it easy, kicking back. Probably had too much money. You know, they probably pay her too much, had to take off and spend it. But I think she's probably back to work this week. There's Josie. Josie, I couldn't read your last name, but good morning. Janet. I try to catch some of these names that come by Maria, there. All for VE Day. Okay, that's awesome, baby. That's awesome. Victor in Europe, right? Yeah, good morning. That's awesome, sweetie. Well, you was off last week spending all your money. That's okay. You got to take off all the time. I love you too, Marie. Thank you. That's sweet. We went to Rob and Tina's. It'll be on my next Sunday video. yesterday for my birthday dinner. Rob called and wanted us to come over there. He's cooking dinner for me. So we went over and he had hamburgers, delicious hamburgers, and then cake. And I ate just a very small amount of cake. But let me tell you something. I discovered something yesterday. You know, Buddy wasn't there. But when they singing this happy birthday song, like they sing, you know, they don't say it right, but like we do it. Buddy always can carry that tune, that note, forever when it's over. Like, happy birthday to you. It just goes on, and I think, my Lord, how can you hold that much air and just to keep going? Well, yesterday, he was outdone. Now, Buddy wasn't there to compare, but Dustin sat over there, and he went on, I thought, and he's turning redder and redder. Boy, you better take a breath. But Florida, does that say Scotland? Somewhere in Scotland, I thought. I love seeing where folks are from. I don't always get to repeat where you're from, but it's amazing where people live. Not all, and there's so many here in the United States, everywhere. In the Netherlands, there's one in the Netherlands. And I think it's so awesome. Then you see, you know, Australia, and New Zealand, and England, and Scotland, and Ireland, and all these places show up. You know, you say, oh my Lord, you know, here somewhere. Yeah, I'm in Scotland. Okay, there you are, flawed but faithful. That's okay, Wendy. We're all flawed, baby. We're all flawed. And like I say, some more that I'm probably more flawed than most. But anyway, Ontario. See, it's just amazing to see where all these folks come from, you know. And Queensland, Australia. There you go. Yeah, I watch a lot of, you know, documentaries, I guess you call them, about different places like these places. You know, and New Zealand to me was a beautiful place. Australia has got so many different, I don't want to call them climates, I guess in a sense they might be. They got like a rainforest type areas, and they got the outback, you know. And I used to watch this series, Outback Truckers, and you can see all of what Australia was like in the outback place. And it's remote, guys. I'm talking about remote. It's beautiful in its own way. It's very beautiful. But I think there's places you probably get lost out there somewhere they'll never find you, never, ever. Good morning, Susie. Having coffee from Pennsylvania. That's what PA stands for, Ronnie. PA, Pennsylvania. That's kind of educate Ronnie as we go, because he's not real. I'm not gonna say smart. Ronnie's a smart man, but he's just, we'll leave it at that. Ronnie had a problem. He called me the other night, guys, and I was seriously worried about Ronnie. I'm serious. He called, he was out of breath, and I said, what's wrong, Ronnie? What's wrong with him? He barely could talk. Northwest PA, there you go. Barely could talk, and his bull had got out. Illinois, good morning, Martha. Good seeing you. Veronica from Sweden. All right. And Arizona, good morning. Louisiana, there old Ronnie Deal over in Louisiana. Somebody there from Bigfoot country. But he's out of breath. His bull got out, and he'd had a time trying to get the bull back in. Thank you there, Janet. Good morning, Ricardo. Linda, Patricia, Southern California. But he'd been out chasing that bull half the night, and he was just out of breath. And Orlando, Florida, Washington State. My oldest brother lives in Washington State. Santa Fe, all right. Bethlehem, PA. You know, like I say, you got a big steel mill up there, I think, in Bethlehem, I think. I was in a service, and there's some of these big old steel beams that had imprinted on them Bethlehem steel. and I think it was in PA. I think, if I remember right. New Hampshire, good morning. There's Reba. I got it passed out, Reba. I did good. Thank you. Ontario. Karen and Michelle, they're from up that way, you know, Canada, you know. And they'd send pictures when it'd be nice and warm here and they still had snow everywhere. Ice and snow. Northern Adirondacks. I can't say that word very good. That's one of them words that skips me. I just can't say it. I know what it means, but I can't say it. It just all those syllables don't come together for me. No rain in New York. We're going to be getting rain this afternoon. A lot of rain supposedly tomorrow and Wednesday. Then it's supposed to clear back out. And she said, you better go. Have you been back to look at the river? They got a lot of rain in Huntsville. I went back. The river was up about 4 foot, still in its banks. Not a big problem. And it don't take long, I think, for a day or two, and all that'll run down before we get more rain. Be good. We'll be okay. You love the sounds around me. Well, there's chickens, there's birds. But G and I sat on the porch yesterday morning enjoying the morning sounds, and we talked about it. You know, the birds, you could hear them everywhere. The chickens, the roosters. You hear a goat out in the back, you know. The little hummingbirds flutter by. You know, one of them almost run into G. They come flying through the porch. And it's good to sit out. I love sitting out in the mornings, you know, having my coffee and I go sometimes out in the goat pen. It's kind of a circus. It's kind of a circus out there. And I wouldn't mind going out to video one of our good morning lives, but I know it's going to be a circus. There's going to be goats all over the top of it and everywhere else, because I go out there, I'm sitting there drinking my coffee, and I'm getting bumped from behind. Mary Ann's about bumping me in the back, and somebody else is climbing up my lap, you know, and Owen's rearing up on me, and yeah. I couldn't see what you're going to your neighbors for. Good morning, Jackie. Also, but anyway, it's fun going out there in the goat pen if you're not trying to video. His video, and it can be kind of hair raising, you know. Hank is that black and tan hound that you may have saw there. They belong to Steve and Susan. Beautiful dog. He's a picture of what a black and tan should look like, and I think he's a big baby. He likes to hang out with mom and dad when it's bad weather. He about like Heidi was. He'd come out thundered and relaxed and stuff. Heidi was in the house. She'd go get to bed. Buster, it don't matter to him. If I'm going out in it, he goes out in it too. He may not like it, but he goes. Woody ain't gonna go out in it. Woody said, I'm taking a nap on the couch while y'all gone. Manny, Louisiana is right across the state line inside Louisiana, leaving Texas. You cross the Lake Sam Rayburn, and it's a wide lake, a long bridge goes across. You cross it, and you come right on. First little town is Manny, and Ronnie lives a few miles outside of Manny. It's about a 3-hour drive, Dan says, from here. We go up through Livingston and over to Lufkin, I think, and then up to Lufkin and cut across, and about 3 hours. My sister used to live up that way, a little place called Noble, just up the road from Manny. And we'd go visit her now and then. So it's not hard to get there. You're always happy to leave, though, because Ronnie's making it hard on you. He'll be making it hard on you before we get out of there. But now, Ronnie says we have to, and Will and them all want us to have permits to go over there because we're coming from Texas. Ronnie said, ain't nothing over in Texas, horse thieves and cow thieves. uh, it may have been back in the day, Ronnie, back when the old West days, it may have been a bunch of outlaws. I don't know. Yeah, Toledo Bend Lake, is that it, Roddy? I thought it was all hooked up together. Okay, it may be Toledo Bend. I don't know. Uh, I don't ever go up that way. Dan's got a little cabin up there on the lake, uh, about an hour or so from where Ronnie lives. I think about an hour drive. And the last time we went up there, we stopped at Dan's cabin and spent the night, and then got up early the next morning and went on. It was about an hour drive over there. Yeah, happy VE Day. Thank you. Uh, Beverly Weaver, good morning. Trying to see some of these names coming by. Sharon, good morning. Ricardo, I would love to take Bigfoot over there and drop him off, but they've got a Bigfoot over there, and I'm serious. There's been several people spot one not too far from where Ronnie lives, and Ronnie he's just a non-believer. And one of these nights he's sitting out there in that outhouse with them chickens, and that door's going to open, and there that dude's going to be standing there. Say, what are you doing with my chicken? Boy, I can't wait. I can't wait. He'll be calling, I believe. Okay, Ronnie. He took his little dog, Hattie, cute little dog, to get her spaded. And I was misunderstanding. I thought Ronnie was getting neutered. You know, I've just got confused. And then when he said the vet, I said, well, probably vets don't do Roddy. It'd probably be one of the dogs. But it was little Hattie get spayed. And she come home not feeling good, which that's normal, I think, you know, trying to wear off all that stuff he put him to sleep with. And Ronnie was worried to death. And I felt so sorry for him. I just felt sorry for him. He called me, and she's laying there beside him on the bed, and just a little thing, just whimper now and then. You know, if she moves, she's kind of whimper. And I was concerned for her too. I didn't say anything, but I was a little concerned because, you know, my Hattie was spayed, and I wanted to stay with her, and they wouldn't let me. It's no, you can't go into surgery with us, you know. And you're welcome to sit out here. You know, she'll come out, but she'll be in like a recovery for, you know, several hours coming out of the stuff. You can pick her up later though. So I did. I stayed around for a while. I finally left, but I went back. I was there for a long time before she woke up. And anyway, they brought her out. She was kind of wobbly, but she was so happy to see me. And they said, now listen, don't let her get wet, you know, for at least 2 weeks. Don't, you know, stitches and stuff. So got her in the truck. Me and her come home, and had to give her a ride. You know, she'd been cooped up all day in surgery, and she needed a ride. So we got on the mule, and we went through the gate. And by this time, she's kind of, you know, she's really awake by now. And we're going through that gate, and she's looking around, and she sees that pond, and she come over, stop, sploosh, in that water. She went and swam all the way across the other side, made a circle, come back out, shook off, hop back up on. I'm getting wet, and I'm so worried about them stitches. They said, don't get wet for 2 weeks. And here she did. 2 hours later, she's in that pond. But we had to keep her away from that pond from that point on. I was so scared them stitches were gonna come loose. They didn't. I think they had to kind of, in her, that dissolve. Ronnie says they'll have to remove them. But I think Heidi had those kind of dissolve because she didn't have to go back. Oh, it scared me to death. But even little Verdi, the day she got spayed, we brought her home. You know, she got out of the car and took off running. Buster rolled her up the knot, you know, a couple of times, just, you know, let her welcome her home, you know, and it hurt her nut. So I was a little concerned too about his little Heidi. But she's fine now. He said she woke up the next morning up and going. Okay, Mans, Off to a street party. Now, I'm going to tell you about street parties, girl. You better be careful of them street parties. They might get a little wild. Like like over there in Louisiana, they, and even Galveston too, they have that Mardi Gras. Some wild stuff. I've never been to Mardi Gras. I have been to Bourbon Street in New Orleans, and that was an experience. It was an experience. Uh, it, you ain't never been there? Yeah, I ain't gonna say you ought to go. You might not want to go, but yeah, it was an experience. Uh, but street parties, I guess they're fine. Uh, yeah, stay safe, stay hydrated, stay safe. uh, Somebody been trying something for months, and I couldn't see what she said they was trying to do. Taurus, good morning. Carla K, good morning to you. Karen, uh, Suzanne, Kim, Caparella. I said that pretty good, didn't I? Did I flash for beads? They have a lot of beads. There's a lot of beads now, I'll tell you that. You can see all kinds of beads. Uh, Hates New Orleans. I've only been to New Orleans, a couple of times, and that went over on that. I wanted to go to Bourbon Street because I'd heard a lot about it, and it was just about what I heard. It's just about what I heard. A lot of beads. Anyway, you can see anything you can see. Uh, yeah. There's all kinds of stuff there. Some stuff you didn't care to see. Yeah, some things you just didn't care to see at all. Bert Hurst, good morning. Bert Hurst, all right. Jamie Switch, Savage, I'm sorry, I couldn't see it. Talked to, which you wouldn't know her, but I talked to my friend. Now, her name's Sarah. Sarah and Bob lived here in Plum Grove. They're the one I got old Big Red from. And Bob had health problems, and they moved down here to Kingwood. And hadn't talked to her in a while, and I called to tell her about our friend in Alabama that passed away, and I found out that Bob is in pretty bad health, and I felt so bad about that. And I hadn't been down to see him, in a while. I need to go, and so I'm gonna take a couple hours off one day and go down and visit with him. But he and I are good friends, and just you lose not that far. 30-minute drive. And you just lose contact with people when they move away. You got so much going on here, and you guys are the same way, and you lose contact with people when they move out of your community that you see every day. Because I'd stop by sometimes a couple of times a morning on my way home and have coffee with them, and I'd bring donuts and they'd have coffee, and we'd have a good chance and sit around there and talk for a while. She was at work, so I wasn't in no hurry to get home. I could do what I wanted to do. I was in charge, But yeah, I got to go see him one day. Oh, Bridget, that'd be sad. It's 11:45 in Australia, where you live in Australia. I bet Australia, but probably here in the United States, we have different time zones. I bet y'all do too. It's a big country. It's big, it's huge. Different time zones, I would think. But I love watching documentaries about different countries that I haven't been to. And not just documentaries, but things filmed there. It's pretty neat stuff. Most G loves detective shows. Detectives, and she loves BritBox, British films, and the majority of them are more clean. I guess you call it clean. Not as much foul language. Some of these movies we get here, it's just one F word after another. You watch that stuff. You say, I ain't gonna watch that. And especially with us, we got little children in and out. So she has discovered that a lot of their detective shows are more clean. I mean, there's still show you and tell you all the stuff they do. Strange things about some of those over there. Some places they don't carry guns, and I would not go into some of the places those folks go without a gun. You're up against it. You got to talk your way in and talk your way out. It may not work some places. I've seen places that don't work. But the best one I watched was I loved it. It was Midsummer Murders, and not just the story plot and the characters, but the scenery was beautiful, and they're filmed in real places, not stages. They're not some kind of back lot in Hollywood. They're real places, and it's just beautiful. And I'd sometimes see the name of a little store and research it, and you'd find that little store actually exists and it's in business and all that. Yeah, it's really a neat. So it was really neat. But yeah, we had a lot of fun with it. A lot of fun watching that. And now she's watching some others. Some of them I like, some of them I don't. But there was another one I think was filmed in New Zealand. It was called Brokenwood. I think it's New Zealand. And there's beautiful scenery there too. So you watch these shows, a lot of times I'm watching the show, but I'm looking at the scenery behind it. So it's really neat. Yeah, old Steve Williams out trying to get, make his wife happy, get out of the house. Just get out of the house, Will, get out. Yes, get out. Gorilla Girl cooperates with Dad. I don't know what that was. Okay, yeah, she says they do have different time zones and different states in Australia. See, I didn't know how Australian states are what. I didn't know how that worked. I knew there was a Queensland and there was, I don't know, man, then Outback's all I know. But it just, to me, it was just so vast. That country's so vast. And you go from like different, like a rainforest almost, to other places. It just becomes a desert and stuff, and beautiful, but not where I'd want to get lost, And some of the roads they had out there that these truckers went down was about like Plum Grove Road. Yes, Scotland would be a beautiful place to go. Susan, sure would be. Ireland, all over there, England, I think it'd be beautiful. A lot of places would be beautiful to go. But probably everywhere's got some beautiful places, But Plum Grove Road used to be dirt, and in the rainy weather, boy, it'd be boggy. I remember as a boy, right down below us here now, about a mile was a low place where the roads was just low, and in the wintertime, it'd be boggy, and cars would bog down. And my cousin's dad lived up here on the corner. He had these 2 mules, and he'd go down there and pull cars out all the time, pull them out with those mules. He'd get stuck, and he'd pull them out. And the weather dry up, the county or whoever come up, and they'd finally grade them and make them smooth again and grade out the ruts, and it'd be good as long as it wasn't raining. It'd start that rainy stuff, it'd just get boggy. Summertime, the place would be so sandy, there'd be ruts in the sand. It would drag the bottom of your car, like what they call high center. And once you got down in them ruts, go this way or this way, you couldn't get out of them. You couldn't pull up out of them ruts. You just stuck in them, It was really hard to get up out of them. And if you slowed down too slow, you're just in a low setting car, you couldn't get going again because it would finally just drag you down. You'd be sitting high center, and the tires would be, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. We'd pull by hay in Huffman in our old wagon, be pulling up there. You'd be in them ruts, and you get the old trailer start hitting the edges of them ruts and start this kind of stuff like that. That hay would want to fall off and bale the hay. We'd always ride on the hay. We couldn't drive about 20 miles an hour. And those kids be up on top of that hay, and it'd fall off in the middle of that old sandy road. Dad stopped, would load it back up and go again. It's crazy. Anyway, that was good times, good memories. Some of you guys, send me some of y'all's memories of your old times. I know you really enjoy them. You know, it's good to have those good memories. I have, Suzanne, I've wanted to go there too. My brother wants me to come all the time. I don't like to travel. I don't like to go nowhere. And I get there and I told him, look, man, I get there and my old knees, I'd be hobbling around. I don't get around good either, boy. He's older than I am. Actually, he's 90 years old. And he's got some health issues, he says. But I just, but he don't go nowhere either. He don't go nowhere either. So it ain't just me. But anyway, it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful up there where he lives. He sends pictures all the time, and Dan said one day we all just fly up there. I said, I ain't gonna fly. I'm terrorist on them planes. I ain't getting on no plane. Well, we can drive. I said, well, Lord, I don't like driving either. So I'll just call him. I'll just call him. And Ben says, come on, PawPaw, I'll go with you. I'll go with you. Ben, Ben, I don't know. You're all leave you somewhere. Kathy, good morning, Kathy. If I haven't seen you yet, I thought maybe I did. These names, they start just, I love that Flawed but Faithful. I love that name, Flawed but Faithful. Yeah, I can relate with the flawed part. With the flawed part. Yeah, I see what you're saying about some of the real estate in places. Some places it's expensive. We watched G used to, and Lex liked it too. It was this House Hunters. Y'all ever watched that stuff? Hey, Roman. Hey, Wood dog. I got Woody and Roman and all of them. Roman, you get up there in the garden, son. You know what Ronnie's gonna say? Look at them old cats go out there use it for a cat box. The other morning, yes, I'm serious, little old Mick come out to visit. There's Roman, come out to visit. And Ronnie starts this mess saying, all they use it for is a cat box, just a cat. He never used it as a cat box. Ronnie, come up here, and just walked up here and wanted to love on his pawpaw. You don't understand that. Roman is a beautiful cat, and he's a good cat. You're a good boy. You're a good cat. He's a good cat. He sleeps in the house every night, Roman does now, and we get moved over here. I'm wondering what's going to happen. He'll know right off. I'll bring them all over here and lock them in the house all day and feed them. But they'll probably go back and forth if they figure out, we're over here and not over there. I don't know what she'll think, but she likes cats. They got cats too. She'll open the door, about 3 cats every night will run in, hop up on the couch and go to sleep. The funniest, I guess, is Seamus. He sleeps all day out there on that well, that little old wishing well. At night, he comes in and gets up on the couch, and he lays on his back, and he put his back feet up on the back of the couch. And he'll sleep like it all night, his back feet on the couch, laying on the flat of his back all night long. You have 3 girl cats. Yeah, they can be special, can't they? Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy boy. You're my boy. You're a good cat. Woody, you're a good boy too. There's my boy Woody. and my boy Buster. They're always with their PawPaw. I got folks go with me where I go. We've got 10 cats. I think it's 10. Don lives in Fort Worth, Texas. Fort Worth. Old time town, Fort Worth. Been around a long time, had it. Watched that show, I think it was Fort Worth. 1883 when they go into Fort, I think it's Fort Worth. And Billy Bob Thornton, I think, is that old sheriff there. I think played that old sheriff, and they said guys down in that bar down there shot up a bunch of our folks out there on the trail, and so he said, let's go down there, and he goes down there and he opens the door, they go in, and he said, point them out, and the old boy pointed out, and he just starts shooting them. Fort Worth was bad back then. You better be good. You better be good, or you better be a good shot. You know, you'd be quick drawing or something. Anyway, he shot them all up in there. He said, any killers in Fort Worth is me. I'm the only killer in the Lord. And he was the lawman. That's a good show. If you ain't never seen it, you ought to watch it. 1883, and then it comes right on into 1923. Yeah, it's like before Yellowstone. It leads up to Yellowstone, the movie Yellowstone. But we never cared. G and I never watched Yellowstone that much because of the language. Seriously, because we're not saints. We've heard the words before, but I just don't care to sit and watch shows that's just one word after another, you know, and just, yeah, I don't see the point. And I can see a bad word being used if you're in a battle or something, you know, and things, you're in a tight spot, you're in that tight spot, you might use a bad word, you know, or you mash your finger, it might slip out, you know, but just to sit around in a movie just talking it, you know, I've heard it all before, don't need to hear it again. Okay, it's about that time. We almost our 1 hour, guys. I try to stay with you guys an hour. Sometimes I probably run out of stuff to talk about in an hour's time, but then I'll just sit here and I can sit here and admire my cat. See, Roddy, look at him. He's not using a cat box. He's up there grooming himself. He likes PawPaw's little custom garden. Roman, you think it's a pansy garden, Roman? Oh, no, sir, he said. No, sir. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna be getting out of here. I think, we never know if Ben's coming or not. You know, sometimes Ben, I'll be there, and then about the time he's supposed to drive up, you'll get a phone call. Well, the other day, I made kind of fun of him, and I regret it because he actually had a problem. Ben got spider bit, and he just called and says, I must go to the doctor, I don't feel good. Well, he didn't tell me he'd got spider bit, and he had a big old knot on his arm, almost like a boil. And don't know what is out here somewhere, what kind of spider bit him. But so he went to the doctor, and I went ahead and did stuff without him that day. But just I told you, well, Ben's not coming. But he tries to work with me 2 days a week, and I try to give him something for it, you know, and helps him out because he's going to school, you know, and not able to hold down a regular job, you know. So, and now and then he'll work with Lester, and sometimes he'll work with Jake, and sometimes he'll work with Bree if they need help, you know. But most of the time it's just me, and 2 days a week. But he went to the doctor and they lanced that thing. There's all kinds of nasty stuff in there, and they give him some antibiotics and stuff, and told him it was a spider bite. Robin, get down from there. I don't know what the purpose of that is, Roman. What's the purpose, son? What's the purpose of you up there? I don't know. I think he's been drinking. You think he's been drinking this morning. Guys, I've seen some new names here this morning. I want to welcome y'all to this page. We're not probably ever going to teach you nothing, but you could have fun here with these folks. And these folks are good people. They'll pray for you. They'll talk with you. I got so many of y'all have made friends with each other. You know, you send out friend requests to each other and become friends. Y'all chat all the time. And those things, it kind of thrills me because I don't know of any other page like that people just sit and visit with each other. You know, most of them, all of them are, you know, they're showing you what they got or what they're doing. And I do too sometimes, but I love just to chat. We was talking about the other day, a bunch of us families talking. They said, well, Dad's page is different than everybody else. It's just a bunch of friends. You know, it's like a bunch of friends. And I think, yeah, that's true. That's the way it is. And it's the way I like it. It's the way I like it. So I'm gonna get out of here. If you're new, you're welcome. You're welcome, and I hope you come back. If you're not new and you've been here for a while, I hope you don't get tired of it. You can always, you know, if you need a laugh, you can always make fun of Ronnie. It's okay. Yeah. Maybe I can show a picture of Ronnie sometime, you know, and we all get a good laugh. Because Ronnie sends some pictures sometimes of himself that, well, not the naked ones. We don't want to see the naked ones. I always have to, when he answers the phone, I say, Ronnie, you got clothes on? Boy, I look. I love you folks. Y'all take care, guys, and I'll see you back here, Wednesday? I got a video every morning. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you'll like them. I hope you'll watch them. Watch them ads. Watch them ads. That feeds the babies out here. That feeds them. That gives them treats. I love you guys. Y'all take care, okay? And now listen, I've got to make a couple of videos at some point during this week about a little solar generator that they've sent me to try out. And I'm going to try it out. I'm going to take it down. Ben and I got a project we want to use a power skill saw with. If it'll run that skill saw, it'll do anything. These things are awesome if your power goes out. They really are. At night or something, you just plug into them. You ain't got to go out at night and get gas cans and nothing. You just plug it into them and it'll run you right on through the night. So, depending on how big they are. But anyway, I'm going to do a video on that, so I hope you'll watch it and get some good comments on it. And Chick Cozy has sent me that little door for my chicken house because the other one got ruined. And I'd been gifted another one, and it got ruined too in the flood because it's still in the box. But anyway, I got to do a little short video on it, but this thing's real handy. It saves you a lot of walking to and from opening up your chicken house every night, closing it up or opening up in the mornings. It'll do it automatically, and it's all solar. I love you guys. We'll get them out to you too. But so hang on to it, everything, and take care, and God bless you, and pray for each other. And I'll see you back here like this on Wednesday, the good Lord's willing. Goodbye. I love y'all, and thank you for you new folks. You too, and you old folks.